very close, don't have the equipment, don't have any filters. So here I'm going to discuss the discovery of myself since my father died. So I heard from someone on social media. If that's a fact, I'm not going to find out because I decided no contact. So this video is about covert narcissists. When you have both of your parents be covert narcissists, most people, nearly everybody, has this pattern of wrongful behavior, whether it is empath making process into a narcissist, or whether it is a narcissist making progress into an empath. Either way, it's negativity. So keeping alert and testing every spirit. It's essential that I do this video because most people make drama about second-guessing somebody else, whether that is in the public sector or private sector. I'm referring to the Bible in Corinthians, in the book of Corinthians. As I'm studying, I also like to discover the good parents who considers their children compared to the bad parents. So I'm not entirely decided yet as to what I'm going to title this video. And the circumstances that cause children to never want to speak to their parents again, the main cause in my case is because I lost my identity. I lost my roots. I didn't know who I was. It was only about them. And I've never done that to my daughter, but the corrupt authorities accused me of doing it. They accused me of being the same as my parents, when in fact I'm the opposite of my parents. And so this has troubled me for a very long time, being stuck in between two covert narcissists. They divorced when I was not even 1 year old. I divorced when I found out my husband had another wife in another country. He was an Englishman. And when I found out the real reason why he married me, it was not for love, it was for something else, horrifying. So these relations has caused bad history to repeat itself. And it's toxic, it's dysfunctional. And I want to discuss this subject, integrating Christian community and society, and other people who are outside of Christianity who are intrigued on the subject matter. So children being stuck in the type of family. So it's very similar. I was younger when my parents divorced. I was 1. My daughter was 2 when I divorced. As a matter of fact, she was still underdeveloped to understand what divorce means. So I never prevented her from having a relationship with her dad. But in reference to the divorce and to his mental instability, he became a predator. This is not scrutinized, and this is not currently available for parents who are divorced to protect the children from abuse, physical and every type of abuse. As a result, the woman is always blamed, particularly in a poor environment when the woman is unemployed and not established, as in my case. So fortunately, I had on numerous occasions contacted my foster mum, who has acknowledged a very dark and dangerous situation. However, she did not know anything about me. She didn't understand why people were against me, strangers are against me, and how I became very tired and exhausted during my years of adulthood. And I could not settle down, I could not recover after the divorce. And this disorder had gotten worse, it deteriorated in the mental health institutions where they had wrongly labelled me and wrongly treated me. So this conflict and this community was also negative, as a type of a giant of many. Imagining my mom and my dad, who were covert narcissists, who I've only ever had regular contact in childhood, that was very bad and abusive. However, when we separated, I last saw my mom when I think I was 12 years old or 11. Must have been 13 years old when I last saw my mum. Then she left this country in England. And as for my dad, I last saw him in 2008 in former Yugoslavia. So if I was to sketch a picture of what it looked like, neither of my parents cared for me what was happening. With a highly emotional enemy who was lording over me and living with me. They didn't know, and I didn't tell them. I didn't confide in them because their only interest, of course, was about themselves, and how urgent it was for them to come and live and leave former Yugoslavia and become legal migrants to work and live in this country. So that multiplied into a giant. If there was thousands of my mum, to a number that cannot be counted, the same for my dad, as a giant, what I have experienced in covert narcissism in my local community. And so time has passed by, and I had realized even my foster mum has the same personality type, which is the South Double West. They all have it. It seems to be the fashion. It seems to be the fashion, but it's not done for God's fame. It's done for something else. Because of willful ignorance and this authoritarian type, which is the South Double. It is the dog, rat, and then it is the frog. In other words, the double wind. So this is categorically multiplied from the soul cycle, which is the covert narcissist. It starts off as an empath and it ends up as a narcissist. The other way around, the ones who have activated, so they would criticize, so they would be as torturers, but the one who activates the execution is the other way around. But I'm not going to go into too many details because it was a very dark situation. I've mentioned I have 5 fingers on my hands, so I'll keep it simple. So the conflict could never settle any dispute, first one. Second one is the disorder of strangers judging me wrongly without knowing me, and they don't have to know me. Once you're in poverty and once you have been diagnosed with a minor personality disorder, they can label you any way, shape or form to oppress and bully. That's the second point. Everybody will put dirt on you when you're in those two, when you hit rock bottom, literally. The third aspect is I've been accused of something worse than an affair, I never had an affair, but it was something worse than that because the man was set up as a false lover by the government to demoralize me. That's point 3. It mounted up into forcing me to suffer in silence for more than a decade, so 20 years, number 4. And number 5, they're very cunning in destroying my reputation. So the more they repeat the lie, the more people believe it. And it's spread and causing doubt that I'm pure and that I am reformed in every sense. Not committing a crime, not abused anybody, but I'm forced to carry that insult and injury through injustice, through repeatedly. So that's their impulse. Because it is a violent criminal, if they cannot beat me up physically, they would use a systemic abuse to beat me up. And this is all rooted to my parents, and I had no idea. So they would say I'm gullible, and I would say, no, I'm not gullible. I know that my parents never believed anything I said, and they were always offended or overly defensive in anything in regards to me. It's always about regarding them. So they're not capable of diplomacy. They're not capable of having in the Bible, I made a note here, trying to find it, a familiar radical challenge. So they make everything unfamiliar, unpredictable, and unexpected. And so this can make the child feel worse than a death threat. It's the child having to experience to show that they have to grow up too quickly, that they have to take on the chores, that they have to do everything in a rush before they get beaten up physically or psychologically. So I had that done to me growing up, but I wouldn't do it to my one and only child. I'm the opposite of my parents. And so I was accused of being the same as my parents in this country because that's what they assumed. And the other reason is because they didn't want me to succeed. They didn't want me to be a co-worker, to be a single mom, to be part of the community. There's no democracy, there's no diplomacy, there's no freedoms for people who are in poverty, in injustice. And so this journey, I never had the chance to wait for anything good to happen. And I'm not going to wait for anything good to happen. I didn't look for it. I expected it because God told me that God loved me. God told me not to give up when I was unable to do anything. God made me able. And if I couldn't carry something too heavy, God helped me to create or even invent some type of material or tool that I could use to help remove that weight and heavy burden, to carry it. Also, the bundle of legal suits that I had attended, but my ex-husband never attended. He never attended anything. It came straightforward. I left. I divorced because of the domestic abuse I encountered with a hostile type of alien or lodger that started living with me. And it was excellent news to receive the divorce because I was thinking, oh, at last, no more abuse. But later on, it was worse to be in a divorce situation because currently what the government has is allowing the ex-partner to have more access to the children, and that is not fairly weighed. So trying to explain the situation is that he had the time to return to collect my daughter to become a predator, and for him to get his revenge, which is revolting. It's disgusting what he did, to defy to confuse everybody so that no one can analyze what happens. So that there's no reason, there's no explanation, because there's no evidence. And even if you had evidence, you have no money to back it up. So it's important any piece of evidence is backed up with true witnesses, even as much as there is the false witnesses. So I want to talk about this because I'm trying to control the situation, because they've even studied my own mother, these violent criminals, to find a solicitor that popped up into my mailbox in my desperation to find a solicitor. That seemed to be automatic, So I was so desperate to get the situation solved regarding the recent flooding in my 2 rooms. I was unaware of the fact that I was being watched in my mailbox. So they've put somebody who is, I'm not going to mention names for data protection purposes, who had been reserved and ready for me to take it on so they can quickly sort the problem out, but they made the problem worse. And again, they attacked me for mental health. Daughter like mother, mother like daughter, curse, condemnation. I couldn't believe it when I found out what they were actually doing to destroy my confidence and determination from my perspective and my narrative rather than their narrative. Immediately they took over. So I got rid of them, didn't sign any paperwork, and now I'm considering the new solicitor. So the complexity of the situation is that I have already been prejudged based on my mother, who I haven't seen since I was 12 years old. I'm now in my nearly 50. So this demon and this entity likes my mother so much that they would allow her spirit or her personality to dominate professionals, which they have put for quick access in my mailing box. Pick me, pick me, pick me, so that I can be offended and have no self-defense. And so I'm going to go through limiting this discussion for 3 points why my mum is so dangerous, even more dangerous than my dad. Maximum 3 points to keep it simple. So looking at this judge, what the bad judge did is use my weaknesses against me. He would say I'm damaged goods, and this is all what the covert narcissist says. They wouldn't simplify what was complex. And they want to safeguard authority over me as a type of a child who's not allowed to be an adult or responsible, when it should be the other way around. Can't afford it. If I pause this video, unfortunately, it may stop, so I may have to merge it. So I'm back, and I'm going to complete this video on Saturday the 29th using my Bible reference of November 2025. I like the way there are good spies versus the bad spies, as Mary Magdalene came to the tomb And she seeked Jesus. He is risen, the angel told her. He's not here. And then Jesus did appear. What are you doing here? Do not touch me. Do not shake my hand or hug me. And wipe away your tears. So this is what the news was when she encountered Jesus, and she was the good spy. And she hurried back away from the tomb, filled with joy, to tell everybody else that he is alive from the dead. And this happened about 2,000 years ago. But as my mum, she's the other way around. She's not happy that I'm a lone survivor. She's actually expecting the worst thing to happen to me. So when Jesus was in the desert, he also encountered these same happenings of the worst case scenario. So my father passing away, so I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I was told. God says, look out for the foolishness. For human accomplishments, obviously without God's intervention, is foolishness. So no one can boast. So I declined, and I got the old solicitor to close down because it was traced and influenced to make me fail, set up to fail. They totally took over. It was the same as a thorn in the flesh. Everything that they designed. And so I said, I want to keep the video sweet and short. 3 things that caused my mum to hurt me the most. So that's what I'm discovering in this channel. There's no laughing matter. I don't know why I have a smile on my face. I was thinking about Jesus resurrecting from the dead compared to all other people who are sick and demon-possessed. Get the smile off my face. And so what happened that I can never forget is that when I was in a very young age, I think I was in my teenager years, she used to hit me over the head from age 9, 10, 11, 12, and made my head bleed. She would use her high heel shoes, which is also symbolic to the future event of my life, which is mental health services hitting me over the head. That's the experience of being wrongly treated and wrongly diagnosed. Yeah. So it's also similar to social media. It's like year 2008 constantly repeating itself through corruption. And the reason why I have a smile on my face, it will be revealed at the end of the video. So I think it's going to happen, the same attacks all of my life until the day that I die. It's part of my DNA and part of the world system. that they have normalized narcissism, and they're using that as bait or a worm to catch the fish or knock the fish over the head. So that's the first thing. The first thing. I said maximum 3. The second thing, I think I was about 15, just talking general chit chat to a man who was about, I was about 14, 15. No, I must have been, I was 14, 15. And he was probably in 1920s. And then she came along and said, I'm going to have him now. I'm going to sleep with him. This was during the summer holidays. As a one-off, I went to be with her, coming from the boarding school during the holiday. It wasn't a holiday. It wasn't a holiday, it was a horror. So she was boasting about the fact that she stole my boyfriend. It wasn't really my boyfriend. She didn't even give us a chance to get to know each other. The next thing I know, she was boasting that she had sex with him. And what am I going to do about it? That's not how a mother behaves. Totally demon-possessed. Probably carrying a disease now. She's worse than AIDS, worse than COVID-19. She's worse than cancer. But cancer doesn't run in my family. It should do. Because they're so bad. Diabetes runs in our family, but thank God I don't think I've got diabetes. Type 1 or type 2. Don't have it. I had my bloods tested only 2 years ago. It was confirmed. So that's the second point. So the first point, which is mental health, being bashed over the head, forced to carry labels, identity theft. The second thing is she would want to steal my blessings and condemn me to death. And the third thing is, which is an evil spirit, determined to destroy all my confidence and my womanhood. And the third thing was that she wanted to speak on my behalf. She wanted to totally drain me so that I don't have any identity. I don't have a soul. Soulless. She was very hyper. She would not listen. And she would physically harm me to create a fraud. So these are the 3 things that my mother did as a covert narcissist. To start off as an empath, and it ends as a narcissist. Or to other people, it could be the other way around. There are 2 groups of main people, the main ones, 2 main ones. And this is all happening on new technology and social media. Same demon spirit. And so I have been respectful to my parents, but it's never been the other way around. So God has helped me to preserve myself. So I said in closing why I have a smile on my face. I'm going to reveal that now and then close the video. Short and sweet. In closing, I have said, with God's help, all my life I haven't been able to say, they didn't want me to say that I'm single. They didn't want me to claim anything that belongs to me as mine. They didn't want me to claim or proclaim that I am undefiled. I am not corrupt, uncorrupted. And that I'm not the type of bad independent where I'm selfish and want everything to be for me. So these are the 5 things why I have a smile on my face. There's also the fact So the things that make me not have a smile is that I can't have a normal life, a job, employment, disability, can't have privacy, my own diary, can't have any privacy. I can't be a couple that is respected. I'm always disrespected because my privacy is invaded and have more bad spies than any good spies. So that makes me unhappy. But the other two categories make me happy, that I was a happy mum. I took care of my daughter for 10 years, never did her any harm, always helped protect her, preserve her heart to God, her backbone, pure surrender to Christ and to God as a Christian background for my daughter. So that makes me smile, that I did something for God's will. And I did the right thing, because domestic abuse and violence, criminals taking control is not good. So I'm concerned that if this is willfully happening, because you're using social media, that someone else can take advantage of you, follow your footsteps through the emailing system or through the WhatsApp system. It's unfair. It's being cheated of justice. The majority of them are not good spies, they're bad spies. You don't have my best interests. Why should they have the upper hand? So I'm an adult, I'm not a 5-year-old. Yeah, so this is what it means when St. Paul was talking about the thorn in the flesh in 2 Corinthians. Exactly the same worst case scenario. I have been very simplistic. Sometimes I did deep messages, but most of the times I kept it evidently, my social media, on the surface. So simple to express what I expect, to explain some miracles that have happened in my life. And that had a smile on my face. It was talking therapy, not anything else. And I did pray for my parents that their demon obsessions and their boastful arrogance would be removed, that God could help them to express what has been inexpressible for many years. My mother started to impersonate me and make bad predictions and prophecies of the worst case scenarios. She assumed the worst. And I didn't feel angry. I didn't slander at my parents. I didn't argue with my parents. I didn't want to get involved in gossip, in disorder, in jealousy, in impurity, immorality, or indulge in anything bad that the Bible says. However, it seems as though that they wanted me to do all those things because they had demonized me all these years. They thought of the worst because I didn't have a mother and a father. But I'm saying in God, in Christ, I have a father and a mother. And so I found my mind, my brain, my logic, my intelligence. I found my home. I always had a roof over my head and a sense of peace. And my body, I never did self-harm. I don't smoke, take drugs or alcohol. If I was in pleasure or in pain, I gave my body to God as God's as God's. It's mine. My body. I'm single. I'm undefiled. I want to protect myself and abstain from sex to take care of my daughter. I didn't jump from one man to the next and have all these crazy parties. I kept my home full of prayers. Evidently. Yep. So it was another version of my life of the things that I missed out, it does not mean that I'm bitter spiritually, I'm bitter physically, because of my disability and many tortures, being tortured. Even now, they've denied me a clean, safe, health and safety bathroom. I've poured some of my old chalky thing that I'm drinking for my tummy. It could be a tumour or something else, I don't know what it is. But it's chalky substance, and when it goes off, I pour it in the shower to make the shower tray nice and white, and it's chalky. But no matter how much I scrub it, it's rotten underneath, and it says a sieve. It's horrible. And yeah, so I'm trying to recover from bacterial infection and rash. It's a lot better now. Yeah, it's a lot better. My scar where my leg is, it's a lot better. Closing the video, done and dusted. Complete. So they can't say anything now. They can't say that I'm damaged goods, that it's all bad. It's not all bad. And I rebuke anyone who says I am bitter. Spiritually, I'm not bitter. Because with God's presence, I have had everything. I haven't missed anything. Some people will boast to have the best holidays or the best families and the best sex, best foods. What have I got to be caught up on in the third heaven? But I have reached 7 heavens because God's love is greater than that. God also has 3 witnesses. There's so many false witnesses. So this is how I have passed the test. And this is how I say goodbye.